Welcome back to Project Barbie with my Suzuki. This is really quick for us because we only published the part one a couple of days ago. Depends when we publish this one, of course. And what we want to do is get on with this as quickly as possible so we get it moving and it can be up, bolted, zipped up together, ready for the road for when the weather gets nice. And it's not going to be long. It's not going to be long, but it's going to be brief when it gets here. Today's video, we are going to take the interior out, take the carpets out, take all the seats out, take the panels off, have a really good look, have a look underneath and above of the floor pan just to see what is necessary welding wise. We're definitely going to have to do some welding. How much and how easy it's going to be all depends on today. So fingers crossed. I'll probably take a back seat, as in with regards to narration, and maybe put a time lapse in. And that was a sort of time lapse video of me removing the interior so that we can have a good look at what's going on the floor of the car with everything out. Got to have everything out. Main thing to come out that I thought was really needed to come out was the carpet. The carpet was a bit damp, and there's a lot of foam, sort of sound deadening at the underneath of the carpet, and that was why it was damp. It needed a good clean. Now the base of the floor is going to get dirty again when we do some grinding, sanding, welding, everything like that. But what I wanted to do was get it all out, get it clean, so we can have a really good look at what's going on and why I've got the head torch, which are absolutely fantastic. Honestly, the years that I worked in the dark with torches, with magnetic torches, with all sorts of things, I wear this all the time now, and it really is a game changer. Wherever you look, it lights it up. Where you're not working, you're not looking, so it's unnecessary. So we're going to have a look at the floor now. There is some good news and some expected news. Mainly good news, because we've had a little bit more of a dig around with the screwdriver, and what I've found is that we've opened up some more gaps that we can see. In the recess where the jack goes, where I said on the last video, good news is that looks pretty solid. I had a good dig with a screwdriver, and digging at it and stabbing at it with a screwdriver looks a bit barbaric, and it looks like you would think to yourself, listen, leave it alone, you're only going to make it worse. But it's a necessary evil, because if you don't dig into it, if you don't dig as hard as you can to reveal any corrosion, any rot, you're just leaving it to get worse, and you're not really doing a proper job. So you've got to get it all out. You've got to see how far, you've got to see the extent of it, and you've got to be able to cut all of that off, get right back to good metal, so you've got something decent to weld to. But also, when you have welded the good metal on, you're not leaving anything behind to make a start on corrosion itself. You can put some anti-corrosion. We're going to put some zinc paint on, and then some underseal. Now, the good news is the left-hand side of the car, where we took the panel off, that looks fine. It looks like it just needs grinding back and a bit of zinc protection putting onto it. Looked underneath the car, and again on the face of it, it is pretty good. The access to where the welding is pretty good. When I say we've got to take the exhaust off to get to it, which is going to be a bit of a pain because it's rusted in. But the front of it, the front footwells, although damp, now we've cleaned them, look okay. And one of the reasons I think that the car has lasted so well is this. Right, so what we're looking at here is some of it's like a previous underseal. It's all blue. It's gone dry, it's gone hard. The dinner troll doesn't go off, the dinner troll always stays a bit hard. So it left itself to a little bit of peelability, if that's a word, which meant as it started to peel, it started to come off. Let's have a look. So we have got a great thing is that this, which is the anchor for the seat belt, the rear seat belt, has not been compromised. All this, we're going to cut all this away. Seems to get pretty firm there, but we will find out. So as you can see, the floor through there, we've dug back, thought that it finished there, and a little bit further back, and we've found some more daylight, which is good because we found it and we can address it. So moving on to the recess where the jack lives. Again, it only felt like a little bit. It seems pretty solid either side. We're going to cut this all back. This here may get in the way a little bit, but we'll work around it because there is, as you can see, there's a long white split there, which we're going to have to open right up as far as we can, get rid of it all. Luckily, again, we've not really compromised the hole, because that would be a bit awkward trying to recreate that for the bung. That's a little bit more serious. That is a little bit more serious. Let's have a bit of light on the situation. Again, we're going to open that up. I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it has to be a big square. It doesn't matter at all. As long as we get it, we'll get it all out. Here we go. Here we have the corner where the floor meets the inner wheel arch, and yes, it does look like it is starting. We'll have a good look from underneath. We'll get the underseal off on the underneath, on the outside of the car, to see what's going on, because if it's necessary, we will cut that out and do it so that it's all done. But the floor of the car in general is solid. It's solid everywhere. Again, we're going to go underneath, but again, I attribute this to an underseal program that was embarked upon but never revisited, if that makes sense. Because what I'm going to hazard a guess at is that when it was painted, because it was painted professionally, if you can see there, all the inside was painted pink, and you can tell this used to be a blue car. It was a blue car because I can see bits of blue here and there on the firewall. But the majority of this car, it's been through quite a good colour change, and things that you see there are all covered by the trim, so it wasn't necessary to do anything else. Let's have a look underneath. And that's where we have the gaps in the bottom of the car, and as you can see, just with the wheel off, we can have some really good access for this. And that there, if you can see it, it's got to come off as this. So that is the underseal, which has done a good job up to the point when the water started to get underneath it. And when the water started to get underneath it, it's just held the water, and that's why it's corroded. Now what we will do now, we've looked at quite a lot of the underneath now, and it is pretty good. It's pretty good, which is what has saved the life of this car. It's prolonged, or it's not really prolonged. It's held back the tide of the onset of rust up to a point, because it was never revisited, which it should have been, it could have been, but it wasn't. So it's no good talking about that now. We'll look at the boot floor next. So this is under the arch. So here's the boot floor. Again, it does have a decent amount of underseal on it, as you can see. Bit coating everywhere. It has been done quite well. What we are going to have to do is literally get everywhere, probe it everywhere, If you look there, if you can just see if I can maneuver this for you. Is that where I'm trying to look? No, there. You see the two bolts there. They're the threads. Threads for where the bolts come through at the top of the screen. They are for the anchoring for the seats, and if you can see, the undersill is right up against them. So it was a good job. It was a comprehensive job. It's just starting to break down now. Couple of other things to look at. Here we go. We have the diff. The diff is starting to look a bit sad. What we will do is clean all the diff up, and we will paint the diff. We'll paint the diff because we'll clean it up. We'll clean it with a wire brush. It's on the surface. It's nothing to worry about. Is that basically it's just not pretty. It's not severe anywhere. We are planning to get rid of the shocks and the springs and put different ones on. This one here, this bar that you can see, that's called a panhard rod, and what that does, that connects over there to the body, and in effect that which is connected to the axle. So and it stops it from falling over. But if you lift it slightly, obviously the geometry of the car will make that a little bit short. Put some pressure on it. You should be able to go up to 2 inches with that as it is. But what we're going to do is we're going to take that off, because if we paint the diff, if we put chockers and springs on, if it goes a little bit higher, what we're going to do, we're going to put an extendable one on, so it will fit more. And we're looking at sourcing maybe a chrome one or stainless steel one. Stainless steel will be better and it'll last longer. The exhaust isn't pretty. The exhaust, we will be taking the back box off, having a look, maybe even consider fabricating or installing something like a cherry bomb, which will give it a deeper sound. Cherry bombs, they take away the higher frequencies and give it more of a grumble, bit more of a rumble. So hopefully the back, in fact all the underneath of the car, when we get it up in the air, when we get it, get the wheels off, it'll be ready to rock and roll. And that's the end of this instalment of the Barbie project, brought to you from my Suzuki. This was realistically just the interior strip out assessment, just to see how difficult or easy it's going to be, and I am really pleased, really optimistic that it's not going to be anything too untoward. Will pop its head. I'm quite sure there'll be bumps along the way, but I think we can deal with most things. It's not, as long as we don't have deep corrosion, which can also be dealt with, always be dealt with, but it's preferable not to need to. It looks quite straightforward as to where we're going now. We are actually on a timer, because we do have a time limit of when we need to get this car somewhere near to where we want to be with it, and more of that later. That doesn't belong in this video, but I will put another video out. So, and it's quite exciting. We're looking forward to it. It's something that we really want to do with the car. In the meantime, I am currently trying to source some things. We're looking at getting some suspension, swapping the suspension out, trying to get some colour things. I really would like some bright springs, maybe white springs, maybe white shockers. They do get dirty, but if you keep them clean, they do look quite good, especially if they've got some underbody lights on them. So until next time, keep a lookout, like, subscribe, and hasta luego.